Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. A little bit of a road trip this morning. I'm going to go visit my colleague, my partner in crime for the business, and work on some video work there. But this right here is for my private channel. And listen, I wanted to have just a straight conversation with you guys and see what you think. It's something that I've been dealing with for a long time. I've been separated from my ex-wife. It's been almost 11 years now. And so in these 11 years, I have dated, I've gone out with women, and it's been nothing but trouble. It's been nothing but trouble for me. I mean, it's complicated out there. It's difficult, first of all, to meet somebody. And then when you do meet somebody, it's just, I'm not a extravagant person. I'm not a loudmouth. I'm not an aggressive guy when it comes to I've cooled down a lot in my life. I'm not an angry person. I'm someone who believes that you have to love yourself. You got to like and love yourself before you can expect someone else to. And I don't have one main goal when it comes to a relationship. What I would like to have is find a nice lady, age, I don't know, 35 to 50, something like that, and maybe a little bit, somewhere in that area there, But what I don't want, and I want it to be non-complicated. I don't want to, I'm not actually looking for a whole lot of things, but I'm open to discovery. I'm open to how things evolve. I won't say that I'll never remarry again. I won't say that I won't live with a woman again, but you never know. I'm not a perfect guy. And I'm not looking for the perfect woman, but I'm just looking for somebody who's nice and laid back and wanting to live life. Not, when you look at the dating game right now, it's all online and it's crap. It's so crap. It's nothing like I grew up with. When I met my wife, when I was with her for 20 years. When I met her, we met just in a bar, and it was on a Thursday night, and it was like, it wasn't like just sort of, things are meant to be, they're meant to be. And that's sort of how I play the game now, because I'm tired of forcing it or trying to push it, into meeting somebody. But today it's just so difficult. I mean, you have Tinder and you have all these other things, these other apps, and it's, first of all, I'm the worst person probably for Tinder and these apps because I don't want to pay for it, so you don't see the likes of people who like you, necessarily. That's a problem, I guess. I probably could make it a little easier if I were willing to pay in these apps, and I'm saying, like, put commercials in them, so I don't have to pay. But anyway, and then when you do, like, you do get, you go through these hordes of photographs, and you got women who are not very open, who are sort of hidden, and you got those who are very open, and the ones who are very open, you look at all these emojis in there underneath their photographs, and it's like all this stuff that they, they're into and wanting to do, and you're like, shoot, that's a lot, and that's complicated, when you see one that's Netflix and some dinner, some Netflix, and just relax at the house, or who like outdoor stuff, or for walks, this kind of stuff, likes to read, this kind of, they're usually not the one that they're, yeah, I guess they're sort of like me. I guess not that very attractive in the long run, but yeah, it's just not easy, and I went on 3 dates in one weekend a couple weeks ago, and I was pretty shocked by, first of all, I don't smoke, and and of course then you find out the person smokes, you're like, for me it's a turn off, and I just can't, and I refuse to compromise on certain things. And the reason why I refuse to compromise, because I'm not going to simp for some woman, and I don't expect her to bend a whole lot of rules just for me either. I'm at an age now where I like to have certain things in a relationship. I'm not asking for a rich woman. I'm not asking for Miss Switzerland or Miss America. I'm not asking for one that's super skinny or one that's super fit, just one that's super nice, you know. And of course, I don't want someone who's obese or anorexic either. You know, I'm looking for some woman who's, I don't mind some curves, but there's got to be something with that, you know. But if you're a smoker, that's out for me. You know, heavy drinker, that's not my thing either. I'm not into clubbing and this kind of stuff, and I'm not into drugs. So, but anyway, and I don't think a lot of them actually would ever admit that they do drugs anyway. But then you find out, you know. But I'm finding out culturally there are some problems there too, because you keep meeting women from North Africa, and I realized that is definitely not a direction for me. Culturally, it doesn't work. I need someone within the same culture that I'm in, that I have, you know. So, you know, North American or, you know, Western European, you know, Western or even Eastern, but I mean, it depends, you know, because I mean, you run into, you know, some women out there who are just, the culture from the Eastern European women, a lot of them is a lot about money and stuff. So they're looking to earn something out of all this, you know, and so it's not very easy. Even if you meet a South American woman, they're very beautiful, but they just sort of, you know, there's a lot going on there that just sort of doesn't work out, you know. But anyway, so get back to my point. My point is, though, is that it's not easy. It's not easy at all to meet somebody, and it's complicated. So when you do meet them, and if you meet them, you know, or if you see somebody in a grocery store and you want to say hello to them, it's not easy. It's not easy because they react so strange, you know, just trying to talk to somebody. So it's not, you know, I guess they think, well, I'm in a grocery store, this is my safe space, I'm not here to be, you know, to meet some guy, you know. Or you meet somebody and they're just sort of like, they ghost you and all this kind of stuff. They, you know, they talk up a big, you know, or a lot of scamming out there. So you guys got to sort of be careful. But, you know, I'm not looking to abuse a situation. But there's got to be there's got to be a certain amount of things that culturally and some ideology also, you know. I'm not really into these Greenpeace environmental liberal women or vegetarians. I mean, you can be a vegetarian, but what happens, that tends to, they want to try to bend you into that direction, you know, or they don't know how to cook. And I like to eat, you know, so I cook for myself. I don't need a woman to cook for me, but yeah, but you like to be somebody that there's some of the same ideas and stuff. So it's not very easy. It's not easy at all. And you know, I can understand a lot of women are pretty gun shy when it comes to guys, because, you know, these guys, there are a lot of guys out there who just do not know how to even interact and talk with women, you know. And it's not easy, I'll be honest with you. It's not easy at all. But, you know, I'm not looking for a woman who looks at me as a dollar sign either, because I'm not a dollar sign. I'm not a rich guy, and it's not probably the most important thing in the world for me, is the financial side of life. You know, I like to, you know, enjoy life. I like to travel some too, but it's not like where I'm going to be taking these Monte Carlo vacations and stuff, you know. But anyway, it's a tricky game, and then I'm finding that younger women have a completely different mentality, and that's an area I don't even want to go into. The younger female species, they're beautiful, a lot of them are, but they're just sort of complicated. They're complicated to even another level, you know. But you think that women are close to your age would be a lot less complicated. Now, what I found to be the biggest problem with dating women is that if they have children. And the reason why is because if they have children that live with them and they're making time to be with you, then they're not making time to be with their kids, maybe necessarily. You know, they're taking that time away from their kids. Now, I can understand if you want to meet somebody, and I do too, you know, that you would you know, find a solution for that, you know. But if you're willing to party any day of the week, you know, and leave the kids at home or with your mother, you know, for me that's a problem. And then I understand it's a problem for women also who are a certain age and have young kids at home, you know. But the question is, okay, do you want to get involved in that? You know, do you want all these young kids? I like children. I don't have a problem with a woman who has children, but you know, I dated one woman, and I'm gonna tell you something. This right here was the most magical woman. She was so beautiful, so nice, so friendly, so everything. And she had a son who was, let's say, 11 years old. Well, the problem with that was that he was jealous. He started acting up. She really didn't have time for a man in her life because she had work, she had her son, then she had all her family, she had her animals at home, then she had her little garden at home, and then she was trying to do all these things, juggle all these things, and it just wasn't possible for her. I remember one time she called me one evening and she just was so upset and almost crying. She said, Mike, it's just, it's 9:30 at night. I'm so tired, because she gets up at 5, maybe 5:30 in the morning to get ready to go to work, and to get her son ready, and because he was pretty much useless, and he was so, apparently he was pretty much from the divorce that she had with her husband. It was so traumatic for the boy that she was very, she tiptoed around him, this kind of stuff, and he took advantage of that. He manipulated her. I could see it. In the long run, it didn't work out for us, and I was sort of like happy it didn't work out. Well, not that I was happy, I just felt like that it was probably the best idea, because I felt like that, she just, although she was ready, she wasn't ready, and I can understand that too, from a point, because when I first separated from my ex-wife, it took me a long time to get over her, a long time. I would say about 5 years to get over it, and I dated in those 5 years. I dated women, I dated a beautiful woman in the very beginning. And I definitely wasn't ready for that relationship. But that woman, she just scared the hell out of me because she was over ready for the relationship, really ready. And I still in contact with her sometimes, and very beautiful woman, but she just Eastern European, and that just didn't work, And I think it's some beautiful women over there, very nice women, and she was an educated woman. She worked hard. She worked for her money. But she wanted things on a level that I just wasn't comfortable with in a relationship, and she wanted me to move to where she lived. And I'm here for a reason, because I can work and I have kids, and my kids, although they don't live locally anymore, they've grown up. But at the time they were, 10 years ago, they were still in school, and living with their mother. So anyway, these things, a lot of timing's involved, and I'm someone who really looks at these things and believes that when it's, I'll be led to this situation. I'll be led to a nice woman when I'm there, And I'd like to meet somebody. I'd like to meet somebody and try to have a really nice relationship with a woman, and grow old together, and hopefully retire and then be able to be more active after that, because it's still got some more years of work to do, before you can really retire right now. But yeah, and also it's best to have a woman that's not too far away. This woman I was dating, she lived 45-minute drive away, and that was also too far, And even at the time, I'd worked near where she lived, but we could only spend a weekend at her house twice a month. And then during the week, of course, that was a no-go because her son was there, and yeah, I've spoken to her recently, and I tell her, I said, I'm still interested in her. I would still like to see about a relationship, but I don't think she's willing to try again with me, because I don't think that she's realized that she didn't have time for a man for the moment, And her boy, soon he's gotten to an age now to where he's about to be more occupied in his life, but still he's going to be living with his mom. And he's one of these boys who's super dependent on his mom. He has absolutely no independence at all. Different complete relationship with his mom than I did. I grew up, my mom, I couldn't wait to leave home, not because I didn't like my mom, but because I just wanted a life, And nowadays I see these boys, and they want to stay close, almost like Italians. They don't want to stay in the house with their mom 30 or 40 years old. But anyway, yeah, so it's not an easy game, and it's definitely a game that's hard to play. It's uninteresting sometimes. I mean, like I said, there's things that you want in life, and you want to be able to appreciate. You want to have somebody. You get lonely, you want to have somebody. I just went through Thanksgiving by myself. Did I cook for Thanksgiving? No, I had a chicken salad, My kids are going away. They're at university now in different countries, and sure, I can move back to America, but I mean, at my age, I'm 53 years old. It's not easy restarting your life again, and that's not something I want to do, is restart my life again. I'm trying to make a go of it here. I've been here 25 years, I have a few friends here in Switzerland. It's not very easy to have a lot of friends, but I do have some friends. And sadly, most of them are much younger than I am. Well, sad for me, not sad for them. But yeah, I'm always looked at as being Uncle Mike, and a certain level I don't mind that, but another level, I really like to, have somebody in my life. You get lonely after a while. It's meaning a cat to the house is not enough, But I do also enjoy my time apart from other people too. I enjoy being alone. I enjoy doing the things I like to do. But it's getting to the point to where it's just there's just too much of that time and not enough time with someone else, because there are things you want in a relationship, So it's not easy, not always easy. But anyway, yeah, I'm hoping to, like I said, it's complicated. It's a very complicated situation, and I definitely understand what guys are going through and what they're having to deal with. I would, I'd worry about being a young man again today with knowing what I know. I mean, I'd probably do a lot better than I would have when I was 20 years old, but at the same time, would have put up with any of that kind of stuff, And one thing I don't want is have a headache in my life, I'm not willing to deal with the headache of what that comes with a lot of women, a lot of females, I want one, but I don't want to have to deal with all the drama that comes with it, and there's just too much of that. That's why, I'm saying I like to meet somebody, have a relationship together, but not have all the drama, easy, have it easy. And you say that to women, they say, oh yeah, they all want to have an easy relationship, but they don't have easy relationships, it's always some drama in the story, always something going on, and it just sort of, it's unattractive, very much unattractive, and yeah, everybody seems to come to the party, and no one wants to bring their own BYOB or bring their own steaks or food or whatever, they just sort of want to show up and enjoy life that you're presenting to them, and yeah. So anyway, just a couple of thoughts. I would definitely appreciate some comments on this. I hear some of your thoughts. What do you think about it? It's like I said, it's not easy. A lot of this that's going on, especially for, like I said, I'm a 53-year-old man, and I settled down a long time ago. I settled down with my first wife, and I was happy to be settled with her. I wasn't out looking for parties and this kind of stuff, or all the things that come along with that. What I was looking for was a life with family, and doing the family thing, and being in that comfort zone. And then when you lose all that, you sort of don't know how to react. I mean, there's a lot of men out there who react, I guess, completely a lot different, more different than I do, and that is, and what is the result of it? I'm single. I have no woman in my life. I have very few friends because it's just hard to meet friends. It's hard to meet people in Switzerland. I mean, it's just not that easy, And I do speak the language, but it's just not that easy meeting people. And what happens here is that people tend to meet their lifelong friends, whether in school and in their villages, and they hold on to them. They don't really branch out and move away, So there's not a lot of that going on either. The Swiss tend to, live within the vicinity of where they grew up, Matter of fact, I don't know a Swiss that lives very far away from home, And I, at 17 years old, when I left. 17 years old when I left home, I haven't been back, to live there on a permanent stage. I visited, was there for a little while between careers, but I did not move my family back to where I'm from. So it's not always easy, it's not always easy. But anyway, and I've never really worked in an institution or a job where there were lots of women around either. It's mostly very male oriented, so that's another thing. You're not really going to meet women that way either, So, but yeah, anyway, you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Hopefully, that corner gets turned, and I'm led to, and I'm led by God. That's I live my life being led by God. And a lot of people believe that. And I tend to meet people who believe that also, but. yeah, it's just how I believe and how I live. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not in the bars chasing down women. You know, and then when you meet somebody, if you go, for example, I did go out to a club one time. It was just actually just went down to a bar to just watch some television, some sports, some boxing actually, and to be around other people. You know, one night, and then I went over to another place. And there was actually a lot, and there's a girl I did CrossFit with, and so we talked, and she actually married just out with the girls, you know, and one of the girlfriends and we started talking, hung out a little bit together. I gave her my phone number, and she never contacted me back again. So that's it, you know. Anyway, it's not easy. It's not easy whatsoever, you know. I mean, you got to wonder what people are. You know, I don't read minds. I don't know what people think, and there you go. But anyway, I know that if I was back in America, I would have met somebody already, because it's really easy meeting people over there. People are much more open for discussion, for meeting. And I remember one day, and it was funny because I was actually still married with my wife. We were back home and on vacation, and she and I had gone to the grocery store to do a few errands, you know. And we went to the grocery store to grab a few things to bring back home. And she was in one aisle, and I was in another aisle, and I met 3 women in that shop, in that grocery store. And one of them was a mother trying to introduce me to her daughter, and I do not know why or how that happened, but I was chatted up by 3 women, and it was completely hilarious, you know. Anyway. And now you can't get chatted up by anybody. You know, it's just not happening, you know. I don't know, maybe my hair is too long, my beard's too white, maybe I'm too big a guy now, I don't know. But anyway. You gotta stay positive. You know, when things are meant to be, they're meant to be, you know, and you know, when they happen, they happen. You just gotta be willing to take that step, you know. And I think for a long time I wasn't willing, because I was just so hung up on my ex-wife for, like I said, for 5 years to get over that, you know. And now I barely ever talk about her. I don't think about her. I can't imagine my life with her, or I've ever been with her. And but I'm not angry or anything like that. It's just that I just sort of felt like I've, you know, I learned a lot there in that situation. And I loved and cared for her, you know, so much. But she sort of had to mess that up, you know. That's what people do sometimes, you know. It wasn't me. Although I'm sure I contributed to it, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, but anyway. So here I am. I'm driving to Lausanne to meet up with my colleague, my partner in crime for work. We're going to work on some more videos for the business. I got a bunch of stuff out here behind me, a bunch of gear I'm bringing with me. And, like I said, I hope to hear some of your comments, see what you think, you know. What's your experiences? You know, what do you think I should do? I listen to a lot of videos about men who are in the same situation at different ages and who are trying to deal with the woman situation. And what's crazy is that, you know, our television programs, you know, we have like the show called The Bachelor and all this kind of stuff. Now, I've never watched these shows. But when you see like, you know, what these guys and women too, you know, what they put themselves through. I'm sure they're getting paid to do it, you know. And these guys they look like perfect specimens, and all the women look like perfect specimens. But, you know, I just don't understand that whatsoever. One thing I find really funny is that there's a show in the UK I watch. It's the weirdest dating show ever. It's called Naked Attraction. And you learn a lot because of just the concept of what they talk about through sexuality and kind of stuff. But they take, I think they take 6 men or women, or a mix, depends on the sexuality of the person who is on the show, you know. And they put them naked inside these boxes, colored boxes, and then they raise up the level of the shading, the screen, and the person there with the person who's presenting the program is this woman. She's a sexologist or whatever she is, and then of course, you see the pubic area at the very beginning, and then they start talking about, you know, why this person's there. They have a big presentation, and then they're like, this person, through each part of the program, they select one of the 6 people to get rid of, and at the end, they're with 2 people completely naked. They've seen them, they've heard their voices, where they're from, They've seen every level of their body, and they've chosen two. They've whittled it down to two people, and then now, of course, you got to imagine these people behind the screen. They don't know who they're looking at, who this person is. So they may or may not be attracted to this person whatsoever. And but at the end, this person who's fully dressed goes back and comes back out and completely naked, and then they all see each other naked. And then, of course, there's either, there's comments about one another. They allow this, everything from women's body size to, how they look, and men to the whole thing, And of course, just like I said, this program goes between the sexes and sexuality. So it's actually quite interesting. And then these two people get dressed and go out for a date. And then at the date, they're in a bar, they chat, and then you get a little bit of information about it. And then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, they meet again, and you see what has come about it. Now, very, very few times have I seen where a couple, I think there's like 5 seasons, 6 seasons of the show. I've only seen maybe 4 times in 6 seasons, 2 people actually become a couple and continue seeing each other. Most of the time it's ghosting one another, or the other person really realizing that, they get clothes on them, and they're like, you know what, their personality just is not the person. And then how they, your personality is also reflected in your clothing, that kind of stuff. Or they go out and immediately they get all hot and bothered, and they go to their hotel rooms, because they're all in London based, and they have sex and all this kind of stuff. And then they ghost each other, or they continue seeing each other. Really crazy, But it's an interesting program, because these people, you see some of these same people on other programs. So it's like, is this real? Are they actors? Or is it like somebody they just call in? You can say, hey, by the way, we have another program the BBC does, and what do you think about coming on this program about this or that? So you see some of them, and I've actually seen where a couple of times where they were actually in the cubes, that they actually came out and they were looking for somebody. So, but and it goes across the board. It goes across the whole thing. It's a really interesting program. I know it's a little bit strange to sit there and watch, a bunch of naked people, but actually it's actually pretty interesting. And it's actually not a bad program to watch with someone you like, because there's a lot of questions that are answered about sexuality and about this and that. Sort of get to know yourself a little bit while you're watching, and why you are the way you are in some aspects. So it's very interesting, though. So it's an educational show, but it uses sex and it uses nudity and this kind of stuff. So, but it's Naked Attraction. You can find it. Look it up and find it and watch it. It's interesting. Now, I've not seen this program, because a lot of these programs, you'll see them in other countries. Now, I've not seen this one in any other countries. I don't know if it's because other countries. And of course, this show is at night. It's like after 9 o'clock or 9:30 something at night. So it's usually past the kids' bedtimes. It's when the parents can. I guess if you're parents and you want to watch it. It's a very successful show. Also, it's like I said, it's 5, 6 seasons now. So there was another show they did called The Cube or something like that, and that's where they had. I think the same lady, she was part of that. But they also had a doctor and this kind of stuff like that there, and they actually took people from the studio audience, and they put them together. There were couples there, and people who weren't couples, put them together, and they had sex in these big cubes. And then while they were in there, they would talk about other subjects. And the person that came out, they basically, and it was, of course, it's all safe sex. It's all very safe. It's all very clean. This kind of stuff. It is what it is. It's a TV program, So, I guess everybody's been vetted on the show, but I've even seen it where they actually took someone from another couple and put them with someone from another couple. It's sort of weird, So like they did exchange, But that show didn't last very long, but it was a very interesting show. They also have some of the same doctors where they're talking about sexually transmitted diseases, and you get to see a whole lot of that. And that's not very interesting. That's not very exciting to see that, but it's interesting. But at the same time, it's a bit like whoa. Makes you think. So, and there are lots of programs like this coming out of the UK, and they're all educational in some aspect. I look at them as being educational. That's the thing, is that like I said, we meet people, and not only do you need to like yourself, and you also need to know yourself, but you also need, and you need to like it, but you also need to know yourself. And if you don't, a lot of people find out, especially through sex and talking relationships, that they don't know much about themselves whatsoever. But anyway. This has run pretty long throughout my drive. It was almost half an hour now, this discussion. Anyway, so I'm going to cut it off here. And like I said, like, share, subscribe, and leave comments. I definitely want to hear what you think about all this. I'm definitely open to discussion and hearing get some input about this. But I hope you all have a good day, and I hope to hear from you again soon. And thank you for tuning into my channel, and talk to you later. Goodbye.